Greetings and welcome back to Oil Watch. I've always kept the thought to the back of my head that the day would come where I would need to make an episode of this show that will ruin any chance I had at getting a US visa and put me on the shame list of deplorables that Guyanese critic found himself on. Till day like today, me boy can't get a visa. Anyways, I'm about to talk some things that gon' put me in trouble. Stay tuned.
Hey, something ever surprise you like when you see it, you go, what?
Before we get started, this show is intended to skin up all these stunts that are taking place in the oil industry and also to clear up popular misconceptions. If you want to keep updated with this subject, look out for a new episode every week. Subscribing to the channel will make it easier for you to know when a new video is out. So, there are people who believe that Guyana's oil production industry is doing more harm than good, and are in fact calling for the oil to be left in the ground. A standout voice is that of an environmental lawyer that goes by the name of Melinda Janki. I first heard about Miss Janki back when the first oil contract between Guyana and Exxon was made public. A lot of the points she made were in alignment with my views, especially the opinion that Guyana could have gotten a much better deal and that the 2% royalty is dog shit when compared to industry standards. But knowing my fast scunt, I had to go and look up who this oil messiah is, and it turns out that even if Guyana had gotten a 50% royalty, she still would not have been happy for us because she has a pre-existing bias when it comes to oil production. I always question why. Why this, why that? Why this former employee of British Petroleum, the oil company responsible for the 2010 Deepwater Horizon oil spill, suddenly moved back to Guyana after stacking some nice oil money to become an environmental lawyer? Has she become disgusted with the oil companies, or did she get pushed out and now has a vendetta? Maybe this would be a good case for the International Court of Flipflopping. And speaking of flip-flopping, the US vetoed a US $180 million IDB loan for the expansion of a shore base in Guyana, in line with President Biden's transition to renewables policy. But they're over there drilling the scunt. Hear the flip-flopper in chief for yourself.
False.
Would you close down the
false.
oil
By the way, I
industry?
would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I will
that's
transition.
a big statement.
It is a big statement.
That's a big
because
statement.
I would stop,
Why would you do that?
because the oil industry pollutes significantly.
I see.
And here's the deal. But
That's
you
a
can't
big
do
statement.
That. Well, if you let me finish the statement, because it has to be replaced by renewable energy. Even amid the pandemic, companies in the United States pumped more oil during my first year in office than they did during my predecessor's first year. We're approaching a record levels of oil and gas production in the United States, and we're on track to set a record oil production next year.
So the US and all these developed countries must continue to pump their oil. But Lil Scrally Guyana, which desperately needs the revenues being derived from oil production, must slow down the pace of our development and leave we oil in the ground? One man, like goat by twist counter. Good. So, there goes my visa appointment. Now back to Melinda Janki. I don't know what's motivating her, and I would like to have an interview with her so she can look me in my face and explain to me why we must stop oil production and go back to sucking salt. I challenge anyone to show me how Guyana could be prosperous without oil at this point. Even Jagdeo didn't want Guyana without oil. Man resigned from politics, and when he hear oil, me by gone to court asking for a third presidential term. Who could blame him? Guyana was in a terrible economic place and we were praying for betterment. Then bops, God sent oil. Will oil production come with risk? Of course. Taking a trip in a 4x4 minibus is a risk. But you don't see people choosing to walk to town from the East Coast because someone is making noise about how dangerous it is to board one of these minibuses. The critics are saying that Exxon needs Guyana, and that may very well be true. But what would have happened to Guyana if Exxon didn't bet on us? Let's stop antagonizing the oil companies and try to work with them so we could get the most out of our dealings for the people of Guyana. And let's hold the government accountable on how they're managing our natural resources and how they're distributing the wealth, because that's where the real problem is. Miss Janki, I have some questions for you that I would like you to answer here. If you're interested in accepting my invitation for an interview, please email me at guyamazo@gmail.com. And you, the viewers, if you find value in these videos, leave a like and comment and let me know what topics you would like me to cover in the future. And if you don't like this series, press the hate button and say, "Rake your scunt, Mudwata." This is Oil Watch, and my name is Mudwata. Boom out!
Hold up.